Today's midweek devotion from Grace Gospel Church is entitled A Disciple Without a Garb, and is written by our own Reverend Dr. David C. Go. A pastor was preaching eloquently from the pulpit. His wife and her best friend, sitting among the audience, heard praises from the pastors from those seated around. The friend whispered, "I agree with them. Your husband is a great preacher. He should be in the pulpit every week." "Yes," the wife seconded. "And I hope he stays there because at home, his walk is so different from his talk." You may not be a preacher, but you are a follower of Christ. Your responsibility to walk your talk is just as imperative as that of the pastors. Wherever you go, you need to live out your faith. Eloquent talks about making disciples are much appreciated. But what is required of you is your authentic walk with Jesus. Paul's epistles to Romans is full of great doctrines, which fills the first 12 chapters of the book. But the remaining chapters teach and enjoin us to walk our talk. Let's take time today to meditate on a passage that teaches us how to live with others. Most of us tend to think that we are better than others, and often use our standard to judge others. In Romans 14:5-10, Paul exhorts us to do away with this tendency and live an authentic life of a disciple. Let me share this insight that I have gleaned from it. First, verse 5 tells us that if you are to judge others, make sure that everything you do is also acceptable in the eyes of God. Then, verse 6 tells us that recognize that you have no right to judge others because each of us is accountable for our own actions. Thirdly, verse 7-9 tells us that keep in mind that you belong to God because of Christ. Therefore, your duty is to live for Him and not to act as a prosecutor. Lastly, verse 10 tells us that instead of judging others, respect them because we all have to stand before God, the rightful judge. May the Lord use this meditation to encourage and equip you to walk your talk, with or without a religious garb. Now it's your turn to meditate on the passage.